Some news today. I'm led to believe in the chat we had ourselves a you know what we had? We had one of these.
Pike bomb, pike bomb. It's a pike bomb. Pike bomb, baby, big pike bomb, pike bomb, pike bomb. It's a pike bomb. Get ready for a big pike bomb.
Haven't done the whole thing in a while.
No.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Give me time to research what we were going to talk about.
Out there for a second, I thought we were just listening to music.
I know, yeah, it's a great ditty. I don't know who sang that, but
Tom Jones.
Great pipes there. The official word apparently coming down. Is that what you're seeing as well there?
Yeah, Flames Nation reporting the Calgary Flames have signed Don Maloney, Craig Conroy, Dave Nonis, and Brad Pascall all to 2-year extensions. So the rumored deal done with Conroy is the entire front office another 2 years. Vote of confidence.
They're just a band of brothers.
What's the face?
I'm happy for all of them. That's great. I hope they're on the same page and willing to look at all options and consider all scenarios.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of disclaimers about who gets to talk in front of cameras or not, but I wouldn't be the worst idea.
Yeah, there is that after a week to 10 days of what looks to be misfunction that everybody gets re-upped. But all right,
I do not begrudge people having jobs and making money and careers. But do the right thing.
Yeah, and honestly, like Don's taken a lot of heat, and rightfully so in some respects, because they stepped on a few landmines that they didn't need to. But I would not judge whether he's a good hockey man or not based on his below average media skills.
Well, we sat here with Regier last night, and his take, and I want to make sure I'm not putting I'll paraphrase, I guess. His take kind of was he thinks that it's basically the messaging of ownership just being passed along. He's echoing what he's getting from upstairs in the owners' suites. So while maybe you don't like what you heard from Don Maloney, it may well not be what he in his heart of hearts actually is thinking.
I agree. It's also was not as eloquently stated as it could have been stated. Like that's not his strength. It's not like here's a big crowd, watch Don wow the room. Like that's not him.
And you know what? Maybe it is his strength. That scenario that night was not well. It didn't sit.
Let's take Don out of it. The concern then becomes, in all honesty, if Don is just delivering the message, that's more concerning.
Yeah, you can hire and fire and do whatever you want with people.
But if that's the mandate, still,
if you've got these guardrails that your hockey staff have to work within, which is we don't rebuild, I can do that shit. I can go on TV and tell you that we're competing and we want to win and all that sort of thing. I'm kind of with you, Ryan. You've said it a number of times. If in fact the Flames, and it's been a little bit better as of late, obviously 3-1 in their last 4-2-1. But if they, by the time the trade deadline comes and they are a 32nd, 31st, 30th place hockey team in the NHL, somewhere in that, I think they will do what you expect, which is trade assets for young players, picks.
Older veterans out, younger assets in. Yeah.
Just because it's so bloody clear that's what you do. Yeah, I'm not really giving them a ton of credit, but it's like, so you're near the bottom and you have some guys that other teams want and you're not looking like you're going to win, right? Well, then yes, by all means, call it whatever you want.
Yeah. Call it a rebiggle. You can trademark the thing and sell shirts. If you don't, we will.
Yeah.
How many games, and this is what they would do, and they'd be really serious, and how many games until the trade deadline? When's the trade deadline this year with the Olympics?
Early March. So it's a long way.
Later?
It's a long way.
Okay. Yeah. But, so early
March. 3 months away.
Okay. And that's length of time, but because there's a 2 weeks Olympic break, and there's a little bit of a Christmas break, so it's how many games? 30? You're not
probably a little more
30 to figure this out, are you?
You're usually
I brought
10 to 12 games a month. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You were answering the question. I just kept babbling. So what I'm getting at is that's fine. We're going to wait and play this out. I said it last week. that just means that other teams are entering the fray as well. And I don't give a shit what, I mean, if you can have not Luke Hughes, Quinn Hughes, or Rasmus Andersson.
Right. Yeah.
You're shopping in different stores.
You
there.
are,
But you know what?
It's a luxury item. Yeah.
It kind of when Dregs was talking there, the Montreal Canadiens, they've been looking for forwards. So it's two things. You have other teams that drop down. We've seen St. Louis, Vancouver. There's just going to be more teams that become sellers. There's also going to be other teams that they've just spent their equity that they have to get a forward or a defenseman. So there's fewer.
You should be getting ahead of the game, not
right? It's so.
I agree, but we also have to look at the historical patterns of the league. There are very few deals done before the new year hits. There's a few where teams get their business done early, like Tyler Toffoli, I think, was added like mid-December by Brad Treliving. You had the Lindholm deal was a month ahead of the deadline, but the vast majorities do happen at the deadline for a reason. And game 61 and 62. Thank you, Pike. So there's a lot of runway, and I don't think people are going to be like, well, shit, we didn't know Kadri was going to, like, they know. It's just you have to let time pass here. There's not a lot of deals that get done in the fall in this league.
It is, but it's tricky when you don't know if Kadri, you know what I mean? So
I think the standings you'll know in the new year, right?
So do you think if they're 30th that Nazem Kadri's traded?
Yes.
Okay.
So do I, but they're 30th now.
But the only reason I say
the deals aren't good now is also what we're hearing.
He's not an expiring contract.
You could take him into next year. You could take him to the draft. You could
Rasmus Andersson. I'm with you because he's got no deal next year and is probably leaving. I don't know that I feel that strongly that if Nas is kind of I'm not dying to get out of here, and if there's some trades, but maybe it's on his no trade or the offers. I don't know.
I sort of view two pressure points on it. One is that a lot of teams are looking to upgrade number 2 center, where Nazem would slot in on a contender. There aren't a lot of centers that are going to become available. Maybe it's Ryan O'Reilly,
Nashville,
but
Vancouver,
maybe Luke Shen, but I don't know. Where is he now versus his prime?
Braden Shen.
Thank you, Braden. Yeah. And then the other factor is I don't think we should be discounting Nazem's role in this because he's got 3 years left. And if they're selling Rasmus at the deadline and they're taking calls on, like Blake Coleman or whoever else might be available, does he want to play another playoff game in his career?
He's 30th now, though. I know, I know. Yeah, I don't disagree that he's probably has some say in it. I think what you're saying, I agree with. It's just time has to pass. Yeah, and I know that there's a tradition of letting time pass and there's deals get better. It doesn't mean it's the right way to do it.
I was looking the other day. Remember when
we don't know that deals.
We don't know. You're right. It could be the best deal on the tables today. It's just generally speaking, it hasn't worked that way. Maybe this is an exception this year.
Well, and sometimes I think Conroy did it with the Lindholm, sorry.
Yep.
Where it's just, here's what I want. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not
meet my price and I'll do it now.
Yeah. Sometimes you worry also about I have to win the deal. You know what I mean? I'm not making a deal unless I win. Well, then
set your price
yourself.
And when you get what you want, then take it.
Yeah.
Because the Lindholm deal, and I was thinking, okay, so those were. Remember, Treliving, he gets ahead of the deadline. And when Conroy did that deal for Lindholm with Vancouver, he was doing it. Lindholm was January. And
last day of January, I think. Yeah.
And Tyler Toffoli, that was a February deal. And that was getting ahead of the market.
Toffoli was earlier. But yeah, they went and got early. And the notion that was from Treliving, I want to get this guy into the room and incorporated so that by the time we get to the playoffs, it's not like a 12 game sample. I really want him to get comfy in this spot if he's going to be a contributor. And certain GMs are willing to pay the premium to do that, but I still can't think of a November blockbuster.
You're contradicting yourself.
Toffoli, just for this, Toffoli, because I thought the same thing. It's that was done. It was February 14th.
Okay. And there was a COVID year, so the deadline probably is a little later. It was coming out of COVID. They had to catch up the schedule a bit. So
my point, I guess my only point being is those are early deals and we're still a ways away.
Yeah, we're all saying the same thing.
February.
Yeah.
So,
and it would be nice if someone was willing to meet what your ask is now. What all the insiders on all their podcasts are saying is the desperation might be high in spots. It's not getting lower. Like, if you think the heat's on Brad Treliving now, wait till January, or, you know, Doug Armstrong in St. Louis. And like, are we expecting 0 injuries between now and March? Of course not. There are going to be teams that aren't desperate now that suddenly become suitors. And I think that's why we've seen the tradition of transactions in the league that we have. But you're right, Rhett. If you have an ask and someone meets it, like, move them tomorrow. It's just clear that, you know, no one's offered them enough to be like, we're considering it. We're going to have the chat with Nazem. If someone says, here's 2 firsts and a prospect, like, you're calling Nazem. You're not saying, no, call us in January.
And that's why I think these comments went off, is because everyone feels that way. But that's all well and good if they are in the mindset that they're willing to trade players. If all of a sudden, no, we need more Kadris, not less. It's like, well, how the hell? So you need to find the team, and you need to find the deal, and the cap money needs to all the. But if ownership is saying, well, these guys are important in the room, we need veterans. It's a culture. Then it's all moot. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and we can think and believe that if what Don's saying is the mandate.
Like, that's the fear, is if Conroy is making phone calls and getting phone calls and whatever, and it's like, okay, well, that would probably be a hell of a deal for us.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know that there's any way I'm going to be able to.
And again, I think you're right with the Kadri one, because the Kadri, you don't have to trade him, and the ownership can go, well, can we trade him next year?
Yeah, we don't have to make this decision now if we aren't.
Don't we like?
Will we get a better deal next year?
Is it going to be worth? Well, the answer will be, I don't know.
Yeah,
but it will be, can you trade him? Yeah, I can trade him whenever we want.
The fear for me is that this team gets to like 24th place, because that's when we'll punt till next year. That's why Rasmus didn't get moved at last year's deadline, when you saw inferior players getting large hauls. You know, and maybe there's a great market for him again this year. He's played really well. That helps. But now you have that nasty little extension conversation that has to be a part of deals if teams want to, you know, if you want to get max value in return. Well, we would like to extend them. But, you know, I don't think that the team wanted messaging of, we're waving the white flag, when it was mid-November and they still had 30 home games left. I think the messaging the team wanted was like, stay the course. The one thing they didn't add in their messaging, which I think they should have, was that, you know, when we get in the new year, there are options if this continues down the path we didn't think it was.
Yes, because other teams are saying those things and they're not getting roasted for it.
No, and that's been an organizational thing. The only times they've ever rebuilt, it was never by choice. It was in front of their face, so obvious the only way to proceed. That's the way this season is going.
Yeah, they're going to. Are we at all concerned? So, this is very sportsy. Rasmus Andersson, to me, it seems like he would re-sign here if they gave him the number he wanted.
Yep.
And vice versa. They would re-sign him if he would agree to the number they wanted. Is that the wrong message for us dopes that are going, I don't want it? That means
it feels
you're
like
sticking to the.
Yeah, it feels like that was the scenario with Hanifin. That
Yes.
they met the number, but then at some point he kind of, well, maybe that's just, they were prepared to pay. And I again, Pinder, you might remember was it like 64? Was it 8 times 8
It was
or
around 8 a year on max term? Yeah. And in today's cap world, like, that's actually a fine deal. Like,
yeah. But that's what they mentioned in the conversation with Don Maloney. Yeah, where it was like, we would like to have some of those guys. Are they wrong?
They may not be wrong.
No, you'd be more competitive with them. For sure you would. But again, like, the less runway there is left in the season and the lower they are in the standings, the less I worry about them making mistakes. And I don't think it's a problem that they want to re-sign Rasmus. They might want him on a 5-year deal at 7. That would be awesome. The challenge is carrying this guy till he's 37 on a max term at 9. You can't do that. That he's declining as your team's getting good. And when your team needs to pay these kids, you're drafting high, you're still paying a guy that's fallen down your depth chart. So just like we don't know what potential deals are out there, we don't know what numbers have been exchanged in great detail. But yeah, there's a circumstance where the Flames like Rasmus back. It's just not a deal he's going to sign. It's not enough money.
Doesn't that just send a mucky message to you?
I mean, I don't, not necessarily, because it's they only want him if he's an incredible value. They don't want to pay him market. So if you really want to be a Flame, shit, like we'll take you at a number where we can move you at any point.
I think they would pay him market.
No, they went this summer and talked, and they were significantly apart. And Elliott reported on Monday that there's still a huge gap. They're not close. And that's a good sign if you're on team rebuild. They've stuck to their valuation. Rasmus has his. They're not close.
Yeah, I guess it sounds very well. No, because Hanifin chose not to sign.
Can you do both? And the only reason I say that is because of can you be pointed towards a rebuild, but say it still makes sense? Because if you look at the Hanifin thing, say we could still be doing what we're doing, but we'd have Noah Hanifin at $8 million. That'd be a good signing. Can you still be in the mindset we're going to get younger? We realize we're a 30th place team, but you look at the depth of our D. We're playing Jake Bean, and Kuznetsov has been fine, but Miramanov, James Hanley came off waivers. Pahal's been a waiver guy. Can we still get younger and better with Rasmus Andersson in our top four, making, like you say, if the deal isn't an overpay?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you've got Andersson and Ball, but it's not the worst thing.
I think what it does is if you find a deal where you're like, shit, like Rasmus really wants to be here, this is a hometown thing, now the pressure point would move to Rasmus, because you're loaded with not to Rasmus, to Mackenzie Weegar, because you're loaded with right shot guys. Those are the two chips to play. Like you could certainly, I don't think they're moving both. And Rasmus's deal has put him under the spotlight and the most likely candidate to move. But if you somehow got a sweetheart deal with Rasmus, I'd start taking calls on Weegar. That would be doing both. Because you do need some vets.
Yeah, if you were going to keep one of them, and let's just assume that both of their contracts would end at the same age.
Right.
And that would be
same age.
Yeah, whatever Weegar's deal now takes him to, late 30s.
Yeah.
And say you weigh that with an Andersson extension that would take him to the same age, based on the player, assuming the cap hit is, it wouldn't be, Weegar's
it's not going to be 6.25. But yeah.
just player-wise, which of the two would you prefer to keep?
You can make a good case for both.
I know.
If you're assuming same age, same contract, I don't know. That's tough. Like, I think they're pretty comparable. They do things differently, but they're sort of playing the same slot. They're both kind of power play 2, not power play 1 guys. They both got some moxie. They're both clogging up the right side where you have, Perek, Brstevich, Muse, all these guys coming on the right side. If it was same, I don't really have a problem with going one way or the other. The challenge is that you will not get Rasmus Andersson 5 years at 6.25, and that's what's left on Weegar's deal.
I mean, we're just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And
no, it's interesting because I don't know, like, who's better.
They're having, though, and I think part of it is, do we keep? I mean, I think it's a long shot, and I think that they'll stick to their guns. But there is an argument to be made that you should re-sign Rasmus Andersson no matter what.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of UFAs.
You have plenty of money. You don't have plenty of good defensemen.
You've seen UFAs leave where there's no situation you re-sign this player. You take the cap money back and you let the player walk, or you trade them.
Winnipeg is re-signing their guys because they're going, well, we're not going to. How are we going to get? Now it's different because Winnipeg's had success, but they're also somewhat similar where it's like, you better keep your damn guys. You better keep them.
Yeah, because again,
you're not getting a free.
They are winning.
Yeah,
but then you're not utilizing those assets to turn them into potential game breakers, which is what we're craving.
Yeah, because their game breakers are the Scheifeleys and Morrisseys and Hellebucks that they've extended, and they're good. Like, I think the way that you solve this dilemma, if it is one, is you say, what's our 3 and 5 year plan? And then when you weigh the assets you would get for Rasmus versus where he is in 3 to 5 years, you say, oh yeah, we have to take the futures.
Yeah, see, and and when you map it out, I think it's the same thing. I agree with that, but they are going to internally argue.
Yeah, like if Rasmus wanted to play on a 6-year deal at $7 million, I think it'd be done. But it sounds like he wants max turn times 9. That's the Chychrun deal that got signed.
I think we know, based on the info, that the LA Kings had a deal that the Flames were willing to take based on an extension for Andersson. they're okay thinking about life after Andersson.
Yeah.
Right.
And the rumored package was like a first and a top prospect, which may or may not have been like Liam Greentree, who's a really good prospect forward, big guy.
So just the more you talk about it, and it's why you can't have emotion. As I just feel like I'm ready to turn some guys over.
Oh, yeah. The fan base is for sure. This is the hardest part. You see them in 30 seconds, you're like, do it. And they're like, well, they might, but just give them some time.
Second round pick. You've been great value in terms of what we spent to get you and what we've had to pay you. If we can, again, move it forward and keep getting younger, and there's no telling, you could get a player as good or better than Rasmus with a draft pick that comes back plus other things. It just, sometimes I think teams are guilty, and I think maybe this team has a bit, just kind of overvaluing what you've got. So, I don't know, should we trade? A lot of teams make trades and come out the other side. So that was a good trade for us.
Think about the Lindholm deal. Like they were not unlike Hanifin. They were at a spot where, the numbers were close enough that they could have said, look, we need to do this. And if he is saying, okay, I want to be here, but for 2 months of Elias Lindholm, the Vancouver Canucks gave up Gridden, Brestevich, like on and on and on it goes. It was a 5-piecer. They used one of their picks to move up in the draft. They got Kuznetsov, who they've parlayed into Frost Farabee with some other spare parts. Like 2 months of Lindholm. How much better off are you? Like that deals in a massive loss for the Canucks.
It is.
They need a Gridden coming up right now. They don't have one. He's leading rookie scoring in the American League at 19. There's like almost no 19-year-olds in that league. He's top 5 in league scoring at 19. That is a huge win for Conroy, and it's an unmitigated disaster for the Canucks because it didn't really work with Lindholm. They lost to Edmonton anyway, and he wasn't that great for 2 months. That's the spot they're going to be in with Rasmus. Take the young assets. Get lots of lottery tickets. A few will probably hit.
Hey, buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.